Michael here, back with another video, and in this video we're taking a break from the tutorials and instead we are looking into how to play the game using other tiles than the tiles provided with the game. And I think I mentioned this before, and I do think it's mentioned on the Kickstarter page as well, that you can actually play the game using almost any kind of tiles. And it could be either tiles like this, which is a molded tile, or it could be 3D printed tiles that are used to mimic the original tiles, or you could use game tiles from another game like these that are quite different from the actual League of Dungeoneer tiles. Either way, we will look into the different cases and we'll see what's required to make it work. Now let's start by looking at the option where you try to mimic the actual game tiles using other materials. In this case we are looking at a resin molded kit by Magic Dice Manufacturing, and this is designed and painted by Gabriele Guazzini. And the benefits of using a kit like this is pretty obvious. It's very beautiful on the eye. It really makes the game pop more than using the 2D tiles. And when it comes to setting up the game tiles, it's just a matter of trying to mimic the tiles. So if you would have a room like this, for instance, then you would simply just add the furniture needed to replicate the room, like so. These are also pretty lightweight, easy to store, and durable as well. So this is a great way of turning your 2D game into a 3D game. This time around we are looking at a complete 3D set including walls, and this one is heavily featured as well in the rulebook. It's designed by Printable Scenery and it's made for 3D printing, and the upsides of this set is that it's completely modular, but the downside is that it does take quite a lot of time to print these tiles. In the end though, it gives you a really good immersion and it's a really fun way to play the game. I also made sure to magnetize this set to make it easy and quick to set up, so all the parts are very easy to snap together like this. So once again, it's just a matter of recreating the tiles as you see them on the cards or on the tiles if you happen to have them. Alright, so we have looked at the option where we try to mimic the actual game tiles using other materials, but I also said you could play the game using tiles from other games, and in this case we are looking at tiles from Descent 2nd edition, and I have some tiles here as well from Dungeon Saga, and these two will work perfect. But there are of course lots of other tiles out there, and I can guarantee you can use basically any tile that you have. Now there are of course some challenges, because if you look at one of the original tiles you can see that there is an identification number, in this case saying R8B, and this one corresponds to the exploration card. and the exploration cards are then used to generate the dungeon. So we would need to find another way to generate the dungeon. And this is where the pile of poker cards come in handy. And this is actually how it was done in the version before the Kickstarter, the print and play version. What you also would need is a translation table, which tells you what tile the card is representing. Now I'm sorry for the bad print, my printer is acting up, but if you for instance would draw this 4 of diamonds, and we take a look at this table, we could see that that would be the large dining hall. But if you're using your own tiles, you would of course replace this one with an image of your own tile, and in that way you wouldn't need to have an identification number on your tile. Then there is a column for thematic description of the room, there is a column for the number of doors, and there is a column for special rules for that tile. So by creating a table like that, you could basically use any tiles that you have. Then there are, of course, some other small challenges. One being that the game defines the tiles as either corridors or rooms. So you need to figure out the tiles that you have, whether they are corridors and rooms, and define them as such. And there is also the question about furniture. On the original tiles there are furniture that you can search for treasure, and these are clearly defined, so you need to go through your tiles and decide what are the objects on the tile that you could interact with. And last but not least, you need to come up with a suitable replacement for the objective rooms. When you enter the objective room, you will read a passage telling you where to place any boss monster or any other monsters in that room. And that description of course won't fit to your specific tile, so in that case you would have to make a little bit of house ruling. But mostly the standard monsters are placed randomly, so it's just the special creatures, the boss monsters, that have a clear defined space where they're supposed to be placed. So it's pretty easy to house rule. Well, I hope that gave you some inspiration to creating your own dungeons, and I'm looking forward to see your creations on the Discord channel or on the Facebook channel. Bye bye.